Hello children, I welcome you all to my online class. I'm Elisha, your English teacher, and today I'll be going to explain you one of the most beautiful poem of class 10th, that is Dust of Snow, written by Robert Frost. My dear children, it's a very beautiful poem, although it's a very short poem. Very significant poem it is, very significant. There are only 8 lines in this poem, and those 8 lines are divided into 2 stanzas. But this short poem has a deep meaning, and this poem teaches us many things. My dear children, in this poem, the poet wants to tell us that even small things, small incidents can bring wonders. Even small incidents can change your day. In this poem, we'll see that the poet is very sad, very disappointed, very upset. We really don't know what happened with him, but is not at all happy and is expecting that the whole day is going to be spoiled. Meanwhile, something happened, a small incident happened, and that small incident changed his sad mood into a happy mood. He was sad, but he became very happy. This poem teaches us that there is always an opportunity for good things to happen in your life. Don't be disappointed. Be optimistic. Always look for some good things. Always there is a chance for positivity. Although you are surrounded by negativity, still there is a chance for positivity. And that is what the poet has tried to explain in this beautiful poem, Dust of Snow. Now, my dear children, I'll provide you line by line explanation of this beautiful poem. So let's start the explanation part.
Well, children, now on your screens you can see the poem Dust of Snow, written by Robert Frost. And now I will provide you line by line explanation of this beautiful poem written by Robert Frost. But before we go deep into the poem, let's have a look upon the poet, and it's time to give you a brief introduction about the poet, that is Robert Frost. On your screens you can see Robert Frost. Actually his full name was Robert Lee Frost, and he was born on 26 March 1874. He was an American poet, and he is known for his realistic depictions of rural life. Robert Frost was honored frequently during his lifetime and is the only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. My dear children, Pulitzer Prizes are given to those writers and poets who have done remarkable as well as exceptional work in the field of literature. So that was about Robert Frost, and now we'll discuss the poem once again. It's a very short poem. You can see only 8 lines are there, 8 lines, 2 stanza. Each stanza has 4 lines. So altogether a very short poem, and it might hardly take 15 seconds to read this poem. But my dear children, the meaning that is hidden in this poem is very, very, very vast. A very deep meaning is hidden in this poem. Now let's see this beautiful poem, Dust of Snow. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Now the poet Robert Frost, he is saying that he is talking about actually a winter day, because snow is referred in this poem. So the poet is talking about a winter day when all the tree tops were covered with snowflakes. The poet was, we are not very sure, maybe the poet was sitting under a hemlock tree, or maybe the poet was walking under that hemlock tree, we really don't know. But while he was under that hemlock tree, something quite unusual happened with him. First of all, let me tell you, what is this hemlock tree? Hemlock tree is actually a very poisonous tree. It has white small flowers, but it is considered to be a very poisonous tree. Even there is a poison, its name is hemlock. So please mind this, hemlock is a very poisonous tree. So while he was under that hemlock tree, something very strange happened with him. A crow came and sat down on the tree suddenly. A crow came and sat down on the tree suddenly. And because of this sudden motion, the snowflakes from the top fell down on the poet. These snowflakes fell down on the poet. Now, the poet, instead of using the word snowflakes, he has used the word the dust of snow. My dear children, first of all, I would like to show you some certain things. As you can see on your screen, this is a picture of a crow. Then I would show you the picture of this dust of snow. Actually, it is not dust, but we call it tiny particles of snow. You can see it on your screens. But in this poem, the poet, instead of saying tiny particles of snow, he is saying that dust of snow. Then you can see this is the picture of hemlock trees. These are hemlock trees covered with snow. So now you might have a clear idea about the poem in the better way. So what happened? The poet was under that hemlock tree, and all of a sudden a crow came and sat down on the tree, and suddenly, because of this sudden motion, what happened? A few snowflakes fell on the poet. Now this is the explanation of first stanza. Now we'll discuss the second stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Now in the second stanza, the poet says that what happens when that snowflakes, or in other words, when that dust of snow fell on him, it had a very different effect on the poet. The poet says that all of a sudden his mood changed. Earlier, he had been in a state of disappointment. Earlier, he was very sad, very despaired. He was not at all happy. Maybe something unusual happened in his life that made him so sad and so depressed. But the moment the dust of snow fell on him, all of a sudden there was a change in his mood. Maybe for a short while he became happy. He was actually not ready to face something that would provide him happiness in that day. He literally thought that the whole day I'm going to spend it in a disappointing way. He was expecting the whole day to be a sad and gloomy day. But this small incident of falling of dust from that hemlock tree on the poet changed his mood for a while. And that particular day, which was going to be spoiled, that particular day, which was going to be a bad day for the poet, all of a sudden turned into a good day. All of a sudden, the sadness, the despair, the disappointment, all these things vanished away. And for a while, he felt very happy. He felt a bit relaxed. For a while, he forgot his problems and whatever confusion he was having, everything went away for a while. So, my dear children, in this poem, we have seen that sometimes a very small incident can change a sad mood into a happy mood. In this poem, the poet wants to tell us that even when you are surrounded by negativity, still there is a hope for positivity. See, my dear children, crow. Crow is a symbol of bad luck. Crow is not a beautiful bird. Nobody speaks about a crow. Crow is actually a bad omen. In Hindi we call it Ashubh. So nobody talks about crow. Another part, hemlock tree, as I told you, a poisonous tree. So very obvious, nobody would love to go close to that tree, which is a poisonous one. So what is happening? The circumstances, was not at all favorable for the poet. The environment around him was not at all was favorable for the poet, but still out of that negativity he felt some positivity. Out of that negativity he got some positivity that changed his mood and saved that day from being rude. This is what Robert Frost has tried to convey the message to all of us. My dear children, now let us discuss about a few literary devices also. If you remember, when you were in class 9th, we discussed figures of speech, we discussed a few more things, we discussed about the rhyme scheme. Can you tell me what is the rhyme scheme of this poem? I think you can easily tell me. Yes, the rhyme scheme of this poem is, the first stanza is A, B, A, B. You can see here crow in the first line. Crow rhymes with the word snow in the third line. Crow in the first line rhymes with the snow in the third line. Means crow and snow both are rhyming. Then me and tree. Me and tree, they are also rhyming. So crow is A, me is B, snow again A, tree B, means AB, AB. Now coming to the second stanza, heart. Heart is rhyming with the word part in the third line. Heart and part both are rhyming. Then mood and rude. These two words are rhyming. Means the first stanza AB, AB. Now the second stanza CD, CD. Hurt is rhyming with part. Mood is rhyming with rude. So CD, CD. So the rhyming scheme is AB, AB, CD, CD. Okay, so this is the rhyme scheme of this poem, Dust of Snow. A few more things I would like to tell you. Now I would discuss a few more figures of speech that are used in this poem. First of all, children, what do you mean by figure of speech? Let me tell you what is a figure of speech is all about. Figure of speech is actually a form of expression such as a simile or metaphor used to convey meaning or heighten effect, often by comparing or identifying one thing with another that has a meaning or connotation familiar to the reader or listener. Figure of speech is said to be in use when the form of an ordinary sentence is changed to increase the effect or impact of the message being delivered. So in short, my dear children, figure of speech is used to change the ordinary sentences into extraordinary sentences. Because what happens when these figures of speech are used in an ordinary sentence, then what happens? These figures of speech, it increases the effect or impact of that message that is being delivered by those ordinary sentences. Okay, and that is called figure of speech. Now in this poem we have discussed this rhyme scheme AB, AB, CD, CD, and in this poem we have this dust. In this poem metaphor is also given, dust of snow. What is metaphor? I will tell you what is metaphor. Metaphor basically it is a poetic device and it is used to make a comparison between two different things or ideas. You have to remember this thing. It is used for comparison between two things or ideas. Now, what is happening actually, my dear children? Dust of snow. In the poem, it is written dust of snow. But actually, there is no dust of snow. We call it tiny particles of snow. We never say dust of snow. But deliberately, the poet is saying dust of snow. He wants to say that tiny particles of snow, but he's not saying tiny particles of snow, but he's saying dust of snow. So that is the comparison. He's comparing dust with what? He's comparing dust with tiny particles of snow. So that is called metaphor. Okay. Then alliteration. Okay, this is the another figure of speech used here. What is alliteration? Okay, at two places this alliteration is given. We'll see the poem also. There you will get clear idea. See this line, has given my heart. Okay, alliteration means when in a given line, for example, let us take this line. Okay, so alliteration means when in a given line the consonant sound frequently is used in close context. That is called alliteration. Please pay attention, my dear children. Alliteration means when a consonant sound is used in a line or in a sentence in a close context, then it is called as alliteration. For example, I'll show you how. You can see here, has given my heart. So this sound, her, it is used here. Then this is a consonant sound. Then again this sound is used here while saying heart. So what is happening? It is quite close to one another. Has given my heart. See this one. Okay. So that is why this is an example of alliteration. Another example is also there. That is what, see in this phrase, saved some part. Now again the sound sa, it's a consonant sound. Then in the second word also that is used, some, again sa. So consonant sound, when consonant sound is used in close context, we call it alliteration. Fine. So this is the example of alliteration. Then we'll come to another figure of speech used in this poem is assonance. Fine. There is assonance. Okay, and what is assonance? I will tell you. See, there is a particular line in the poem. See this, shook down on me. Okay, so in this particular line, that assonance figure of speech is used. Okay, now I'll tell you what is assonance. Assonance means when vowel sound, okay, vowel we all know, A, E, I, O, U. Okay, when vowel sound is used in a line in close context, then we call it assonance. For example, in this particular line, you can see shook is there. Shook. Then down, on. Now what is happening? In these three words, you can easily find the vowel sound O. It is there. O sound is prevalent in this line. Shook, down, on. Okay. So when a vowel sound is prevalent in a line in close context, it would be called as assonance. You can see here shook, double O, then here also it is given O, then again it is given O on. So this is an example of assonance. So my dear children, I hope you have understood the figures of speech that are used in this poem. I hope you have understood the poem very well. Now it's time to give you the homework. So please note down the homework. A few questions are given. You have to do these questions. The first question says, what is a dust of snow? What does the poet say has changed his mood? How has the poet's mood changed? This is the first question. Moving on to second question. What are the birds that are usually named in poems? Do you think a crow is often mentioned in poems? What images come to your mind when you think of a crow? This is the second question. Now we'll move on to the third question. What is a hemlock tree? Why doesn't the poet write about a more beautiful tree such as a maple or an oak or a pine? Then the same question, another part. What do the crow and hemlock represent? Joy or sorrow? What does the dust of snow that the crow shakes off a hemlock tree stands for? Now we'll move on to the fourth question. Have there been times when you felt depressed or hopeless? Have you experienced a similar moment that changed your mood that day? The last question is a question where you have to write about yourself, about your experience. If something like this, what happened in the poem, if it has happened in your life, then you write it in your own words. So these are the four questions that you have to do at home. Read the poem once again and try to find out the answers. In the next video, we will discuss the answers and then we will move on with the next chapter. Till then, take care of yourselves, your family members, stay at home, stay safe, take care, God bless you.
So, my dear children, I hope you really enjoyed this beautiful poem, Dust of Snow, written by Robert Frost. It's a wonderful poem, and really, in this poem, we saw that the way in which the dust of snow fell upon the poet, it changed his mood totally. In this poem, we saw that in what way the snowflakes had an effect on the poet. The poet's mood was completely changed. He had been in a sullen or despairing mood, and the snowflakes falling on him all of a sudden gladdened his heart. In addition to this, there was another effect of that snowflakes, what we call dust of snow. That particular incident made him positive. That particular incident gave him a hope to look forward The poet had decided in his mind that the day would go waste. However, the shower of dust like snow on his shoulder or maybe on his head, we really don't know, made him feel that the day has not been completely wasted. At least some part of the day had been pleasant, since it had given him a new experience that he could treasure, as well as the material for another one of his wonderful poetic compositions. My dear children, whatever homework is given to you, please go through that homework, try to answer those questions. If you have any confusion, please drop your question in the comment section. I'll respond to your queries as I told you earlier. And this is a very critical situation we all are going through, and I hope some of you are having your books, but if you don't have your English books, in the description section I'll be providing you the link of ebook. You can download your English books by clicking on that link. So have a wonderful time ahead. Take care of yourself. God bless you.